Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Spot Real Talk. My name is Tiara.
I'm Tiffany.
I'm Ron.
And today we are back to discuss another episode of SnowFall. This is season 6, episode 5, and it was titled Ebony and Ivory. So, really good episode. We're going to get started in just a second, but first, make sure you click that subscribe button, also the notification bell so you get alerted whenever we post, and that like button helps us out a lot to reach a wider audience. So, go ahead and hook that up for us right now.
Please.
Yep. So, without further ado, we can jump into this episode because there is so much to talk about here. And, I want to start off with your boy, Franklin. I think he's tripping a little bit right now with this move he made.
Franklin is off the chain. That boy is in desperado move. I mean, Franklin's done some things, but this one took me.
Yeah.
I
was thinking about how it's going to affect things going forward because the episode opened with Cassandra and V sitting in the car and they're talking. They're kind of like staking things out, watching Teddy's father or whatnot. And so you can hear Cassandra talking to V and she's talking bad about Franklin. She's saying, basically he's like a garage sale jigsaw puzzle and he'll never be satisfied. And so I was like, that don't sound too good for somebody. She got cussed out by him last week. Let's just lay it on the line. I don't think she's feeling the warm and fuzzies about Franklin. And V is kind of like trying to support him, trying to hold him down. But at the same time, I think even she is like, okay, what you doing here? Because this is putting the whole family at risk.
Well, to be fair, that was her way of saying that Franklin was broken. And what she was trying to say to me is that even if he gets that 73 million back, it's never going to be enough. And that's what she's trying to say. For a man like him, it's never going to be enough. And that's what she was trying to convey to me.
Well, the only thing I didn't like about that is she was lumping Franklin with all her past rejects. And, I am not a fan of when people go one for all, because it's not always that case. The man wanted to get out. He wanted his money, and now he's gone to just about every extreme necessary to get his money. And that makes perfect sense to me. Now his fashion in which he's doing it, is a loose cannon. But I can tell you one thing. If Teddy didn't know, he knows now.
Well, yeah. And that whole scheme, that whole plot to get Teddy's father out of the nursing home and to isolate him in their home, I think that it could have been a very good bargaining chip for Franklin against Teddy had he not necessarily killed him. But the fact that he did kill him, that means that things only continue to escalate from here. Like don't let something like that slide.
Well, Teddy did not sound like he was trying to negotiate because he said, it's not going to happen. It takes time. It's a process. He was like, it's the wrong answer. Like, at first he tried to come at Franklin and say, well, I don't even deal with that man and this, that, and the other and stuff. And, we know that Teddy was on the outs with his dad. However, you can see Teddy getting desperate. Like he was like, Dad, like he really wanted to talk to him. Like, oh my gosh. But imagine, okay, I felt bad for Teddy's dad because he was the innocent part here. But I was like, okay, Teddy, how do you think it felt to Franklin's family when it was out there? And even after that happened, Franklin continued to work with him. So you did what you did with his dad. Now you took his money, 73 million. Okay, so now you playing in my face right now.
Well,
so you get what you get.
Well, yeah, and that's what I meant when I said Teddy now knows who he's dealing with, because he also said, I'm going to come after your girl. I'm going to come after your family. And if you can't get to Franklin before he gets to your family, Teddy now knows that he's not up against somebody who's just going to sit on his hands and hope for the best. He actually knows that not only will he do what he said he would do, but you're next. And so, if I were Teddy, I'd go ahead and get that man his money, with the quickness. and let
But
it.
Teddy might come do the same thing because the thing is, you saw Franklin was trying to get Sissy out of there, and Sissy like, I'm not going nowhere. This and the other. So Sissy can be touched. Sissy can be touched. Leon and them can be touched. They staying in the projects and stuff. V and her mom can be touched. They know Teddy knows that V is expecting a baby. Like, this opens a door for.
That's why I said it was a bad move. He probably, I can see if he just injured Teddy's father and like kind of let Teddy hear that, and then was like, if you don't give me my money, something worse is gonna happen. He could have let it linger on a little bit longer, but instantly like taking away the only bargaining chip you had, like it just seemed too soon to me, because now he really don't have nothing to work with. He's just demanding money, and for what? And now on top of that, you add the fact that Teddy,
because he has a child. Teddy has a child because he's like, he let him know, like, I got to your dad, I can get to your woman.
But he's also telling him his plan ahead of time. Now Teddy could have the resources to kind of hide them out somewhere. So that's why I was like, you kind of showing your cards right now. You should have kind of like played a little bit of chess, know. But he's so enraged that he just really didn't have the patience for it.
I would have hoped that he would have known where Teddy's family are.
He does know, because he hired the guy. That's how he got the father's information. The same guy that helped Alton get the CIA information on Teddy. Right. He already got his family information.
Right. And it might be that, Franklin still got a few, soldiers, so we don't know. Now, I'm gonna tell you what though, V and her mom are out of town. I mean, they sat there and watched Franklin do something that was, I don't think they were even,
they looked shook. V was like, they looked shook. And I don't think they knew they were signing up for that. They were like, okay. They probably thought it was going to be a shakedown. It was going to kidnap them and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think they thought they were going to be accessories to murder.
Franklin had to tell them to get out of town. They're gone. Trust me.
I think they're definitely going on a run, and especially like before they killed Teddy's father, you could hear V's mom having that conversation, and she was kind of talking about how she wanted to, by the time she got parenting right, her daughter didn't need her anymore. And she was saying how she kind of wished she had more time now to like show how things have changed. And so I was like, this might be that opportunity where V sees that change, and her mom is like, look, Franklin is not who I thought he was. He's not who I want to be with. Maybe we should just hit the road and get up out of here.
Fortunately.
And I saw the way the mother was with Teddy's dad too, because there was still, like, she was scamming him, but there was still a type of tenderness that she showed him too, like when she gave him the kiss, the dancing with him and stuff like that. And it seemed like when they bonded when they were talking about their children. So I know that she probably was just like, and I saw the previews for next week when she was telling V in the preview, she was just like, Frank, your man is unhinged, so she's really gonna be in her ear, like,
yeah, we gotta roll. I mean, but funny, when I saw her kiss Teddy's dad, for some reason I said to myself, that's a kiss of death. I mean, I had no idea that he would, that would happen, but when she kissed him that way, and here's the knock on the door, and he asked, who is that? And that's my daughter and son-in-law, or whatever. But with that kiss, I just said, that looks like a kiss of death to me.
Yeah, it pretty much was. But it did seem like, I don't think neither one of them expected Franklin to do what he did.
Not at all.
Yeah.
They couldn't even look at it.
He was like...
And, Gustavo was also trying to warn his family, to get out of town, and he knows what's coming. And so she, Ziamara, she was not really trying to hear it either. She was just like Sissy, like, where am I going to go? What money do I have to leave town? And what am I running for? Like, what's the point? And so Gustavo, I feel bad for him too, because he's trying to protect his family, but he's trying to play both sides of the fence at the same time. And Teddy, like we said, he was on to him after last week, but he might have done a decent job by covering his tracks.
Gustavo, he saved himself by coming clean, because You saw when Teddy got out the car, he had the syringe. I was like, oh Lord, he about to.
Yep.
And I think also he did himself a favor by saying like, hey, look, this guy approached me. I know, and so I think that kind of reassured Teddy.
But it's short lived because you can't
It's short-lived.
you can't play with both devils. I mean, you got to be on one side or the other, and the position that Gustavo has himself in, it's just sooner or later it's just going to inform. It's not going to do him well because Teddy still has a long reach and he knows everything. So just like he found out about old boy, he's going to find out about what's the other guy, the other detective.
Yeah, Tony. Yeah.
Yeah, DA.
Yeah, this is untenable.
Yeah, so it's
and Tony had to be called off too because they were prepared to raid that warehouse, and Gustavo did Teddy another solid by saying like, look, he told Tony they moved the stuff in the warehouse. There's no point in raiding it, so that actually didn't happen. And so it's kind of like Gustavo really is kind of saving himself by diverting people away from the situation and coming clean. The only thing that I'm thinking about next is, the fact that Ruben left the house and Teddy went in there snooping for things. And I think he's going to try to blackmail Ruben about the homosexual lifestyle or whatever. And, being a part of the KGB, that's not really anything that's acceptable. So that might be the bargaining chip that Teddy has. The only thing is, Ruben knows that somebody's been in his house now.
I told Nikki, I said,
he knows
because he closed that door and put his fingers and made that gap. I said to Nikki, when he did that, I said, you know why he did that? And I said, because when he comes back, if that gap isn't still the same, he's going to.
He knows. And he knew too, because as soon as he did that, he opened the door, he looked over his shoulder. I was like, Ruben knows somebody was in there.
Yeah. And so I think that Ruben's going to be proactive to whatever Teddy tries to do next. He's already a step ahead of him. So I think, we talk about mid-season. This was the mid-season episode, and there's 5 left. I think from this point on, we start seeing some deaths.
Yeah, somebody.
And, unfortunately, I'm thinking I got 2 big names on my list that I don't want to see go, but between Leon and Jerome, I was like, both of them probably about to get it.
Jerome is first. I mean, when we talk about unhinged, Jerome is just messing up big time. First of all, he threw his pager in the trash, which means, hey, I know he wants to get out. The excerpts from next week, he's telling Louis he wants out. He's tired of this. That's not going to happen as far as Louis is concerned. And he's just losing it. He's lost it actually. He's done.
And I think that what we've seen from him might have been him kind of like accepting his fate. Like, I think he knows what's on the horizon from here. There's no real way out of this.
I think he's done.
Yeah, he's done with it. He's over it. He doesn't care. That's why he went back. He was trying to reminisce on the past, and he went to Clyde, the mechanic, and he was trying to, talk to him, holding up the whole shop from getting anything done.
AKA Omar Dorsey.
Yep, and I was about to say
it on our show.
Yes, so shout out to Omar Dorsey. And I just seen that, like, as that car kept driving by back and forth, like Jerome almost was like, I don't even care. Like, if they're gonna come up here and do what they're gonna do, then let's have at it. I think he's just over it.
But was he paranoid? I mean, I know the car kept driving back and forth. I mean, it could have been someone lost. So I don't know if
because the mechanic said that he's driven around a couple of times. It's probably Kane's men. Like,
I was about to say,
think about it. They just shot up Kane's place and everything.
Place. He was like, "What if my girl was here?"
So now, and Kane pretty much said in the episode that Jerome, I'm looking for Jerome and Louis. So they know that the target, and the fact that they got pulled out, they was like Franklin pulled them out, and Louis, she was a trip because she was just like, we could have had him, and like wow, like I know
bloodthirsty.
Yeah, but and the thing is, this is still his nephew. This is still your husband's nephew. And she like, yeah, we could have had him and put an end to this. And I'm like, you may be gung-ho, but Jerome ain't necessarily gung-ho about killing his own nephew.
He didn't
and
like that
son of his sister.
He didn't like it too much. If you saw his face, he didn't care too much about what she said.
No.
Came back to that car because Jerome's car was sitting out in the open as they were fixing it. And the guy driving back, so he already knew where Jerome might be. So you would think that the person in the car would have just looked and would have seen Jerome. That's why I'm thinking, well, why didn't he just do whatever he was going to do? He saw the car. You know, well, he would have seen the car had he looked. But, you know.
But Kane said he wanted him back alive. And you've seen Jerome go into the trunk. So you can't necessarily run in there and grab him up.
But I mean, he
him shooting you first. With
but that car was already gone by the time Jerome got his gun. So I just didn't understand that drive-by, which wasn't really a drive-by. It was a look-see. So, because you have to think he's not going to be there long. And, if this is your opportunity, that's all you have. But, because now, I don't know. But then, like we said, Jerome he's off the chain. I think he's ready to just give it up. If he's got to go, he's got to go.
Yeah, he's the one I feel bad for in all of this because he really is stuck between a rock and a hard place. And the fact that when Big D came over there and he was talking about, oh, your girl, she run things now. She's the mouthpiece, basically. And so, like, that's how he's being perceived in the streets. I think that bothers him as well. The fact that guys are looking at him like he's just Louis' sidekick. And then, just he talked about how there's no honor and respect amongst the youngsters anymore. And that's not how he rolls. I think he sees how much he has changed to try to fit in to what Louis wants. And I think he's over it. He's just ready to be done. And I think he doesn't really care what happens at this point.
He only wanted to have his stereo store. Louis wanted all this. He went along with the program with Louis. All he wanted was his Jam and Jerome. That's all he wanted.
And sell a little weed sell a little weed in the process.
Exactly.
He my weed.
Want all this drama, and he definitely didn't want discord with his family. And the thing that and it was striking because when he was trying to hang around Clyde, the mechanic and stuff, and he was like, "Oh, you can come back and get it." Like he was trying to get rid of Jerome.
Yeah.
And he was just like, "You only got a couple cars in here," and he basically told Jerome, "I'm trying to get home to my people," and that's dude recognizing that being around Jerome and Louis, you can get killed, and not just Jerome and Louis, Franklin, all of this stuff. Their lifestyle can get other people killed, and the dude wasn't trying to have no parts, and I don't blame him.
I concur.
I agree.
Yeah. And so this other situation that we have going on with Leon, Big D got embarrassed in front of the whole hood, and he ran to Louis and Jerome to say, "Don't sell to Leon, like ice him out." But they like, "Look, we bought our money. We ain't getting in between y'all mess." So Leon had to go back out into the neighborhood and let it be known, like, if anybody else got something else to say or to get off their chest, then do it right now because I'm back and I'm here to take over. And in my mind, I'm like, this is totally backwards. Like, you've been, and his crew even said as much, you're a walking contradiction here. You're talking about peace, but you out here being violent. You out here trying to promote and encourage everybody else. But then here you are saying you're back in the game. You left with a crackhead, you come back with a wife.
Now that could have been a shot.
And he said, "Sorry, Wanda."
Right. But it's true, he is a walking contradiction. And I'm like, you are about all of this empowerment. Why not just get on the plane and head back to Ghana instead of being a part of the problem again?
And as a matter of fact, he signed Wanda's death certificate. That's how I feel.
Or his own.
Or his will definitely come, but I think Wanda will be she will be a casualty of that one.
Yeah, she is. Collateral damage. And that's why I said this was so not smart for them to come back. They were doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really don't understand the point of staying at this point. Like, that is not the natural reaction that I would have expected out of Leon to revert back to wanting to be a drug dealer after all that he's seen and been through?
Well, I think the reason why he said he was going to do it is because the guy said the people lining up to take the crown, he said it'd be far worse than Dion. So I think he thought that the bigger picture is they'll be better under me. But the thing is, I'm still wondering, like, Leon had money, when they left Africa, I'm sure he still has money from the money he made. Why are they back in the projects? Why are they staying there? And then, or why they can't stay with Sissy or whatever? Like, why are they staying there with, especially him knowing that she's a former addict,
Right.
Yeah, because she's right back in the mix, and
right.
It's not going to be good for her. Even working with Sissy isn't enough. She needs to be awake for some time. I don't think she's still strong. I don't think she's strong enough to stay away from the drugs. It's only a matter of time.
It's just, I just know it's some deaths coming. It's some big ones about to come.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. I don't see Jerome making it. I don't see Leon making it. Wanda definitely might be collateral damage. And then, if we talk about Franklin's side, I think Sissy or V, one of the two.
I see V. I don't see V. If Sissy goes, whew,
that's major.
Yeah, it would be. But he put, Franklin just killed his father. So that, and Sissy is refusing to go. So it's very possible.
Now, I'm wondering too, because, we got next episode. Is there any chance that, maybe Jerome and Franklin can have some kind of conversation? Maybe they can work something to get out of the game together, or it's just too far gone at this point.
And Jerome is just not. Jerome's head is not for any type of negotiation at all.
Because I feel like if Sissy got a hold of him, she might try to, speak some life into him, try to get him to see things another way. Maybe, between he and Franklin, they could get back together against Louis, maybe. But I doubt that Jerome would go against Louis. I know he's kind of upset with how things have taken a turn under her direction, but I don't know if he would ever go against her. But it would be interesting to see the family come back together against Louis.
I don't know if he'll go against her, but in the previews, he's definitely saying to her, in next week's previews, he's like, listen, none of this stuff is worth it. He was like, the money, aren't you tired of having a target on your back? Like, so he's trying to reason with her in next week's episode.
But she's not trying to hear it.
No, she ain't trying to hear that.
I don't think she really wants to leave Franklin. I think that's the problem. She doesn't want to leave him behind because she knows, that's just.
Louis?
Talking about Louis.
Oh, you're talking about Louis?
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about. Oh, I thought you were talking about Sissy leaving.
No. No, we're talking about in the previews what Jerome was saying to Louis, like,
oh yeah,
aren't you tired? Like this, we got a target on our back.
Louis not tired of the money, and theoretically, she doesn't have a target on her back. I mean, she
does.
She does dirt. She does a dirt, but she puts Jerome in front of it. So if there's going to be any
Kane is coming for her too, because first of all, Franklin told him last season that Louis made the hit on him. So he definitely after her.
And I don't know if y'all seen it, but when Franklin was sitting there with Franklin, and he was like, look, you ain't leaving until you figure out where they're going to be at. And Franklin looked over at TV, seen the horse on the screen. I was like, oh, so they about to hit the stables.
Yes, they are.
That's where they're going to catch Louis.
Yes.
And, she might get got next episode.
They said bring him back alive. Bring her back alive. And the point being is she's going to have, like they said, she's going to have guards. So how do you do it? I mean,
take out the guards.
Well, they don't.
Yeah, they're gonna take out the guards. I think they're gonna pull up.
They don't look like sharpshooters to me. So, it's just be a hail of gunfire, and whoever's last standing wins. So, I like to see that fight.
Yeah,
you might see it. I think next week is gonna be on and popping.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to see what happens. Do y'all have any candidates for game ball or who can get the hands. I think Louis probably can get the hands still. You know, she's just thirsty. She really is insensitive to Jerome's familial relationship with Franklin outside of the beef. I think I kind of want to give Franklin the hands a little bit. Just for taking it too far. Like, you killing people in front of your baby moms and, you know, your future mother. What? Aren't they married? Your mother-in-law?
No, they're getting ready to get married. That was the plan. They were supposed to take the money, go get married, had a baby. Like, they were supposed to ride off into the sunset, and that's what he's pissed about.
And it's just like, you doing all of this stuff, like, you don't really care about their perception of you. And I guess it's better to live your truth out loud. But my goodness, you took that one way too far.
I don't know. I really, of all the groups, I feel most for is Franklin and V, because it looked like they had a wonderful life ahead of them, and here we are.
Listen,
I don't know who to feel sorriest for, Leon and Wanda or Franklin.
I feel bad for them. And I do, even though Franklin did take it too far, part of me was kind of like, yes, Franklin the GOAT. only because I felt like, okay, I felt bad about Teddy's dad, that he had to be collateral damage. I was like, this man is innocent. So I felt bad about that. But on the other hand, I was like, Franklin then put his cojones on the table because he killed his dad. Like, he killed his dad and then he took his money. Like, how much? You can't just roll over. You can't roll over. Like, enough is enough. And I think he even said that, like, okay, I ain't do nothing. I kept working with you, you know, even after the disrespect of you disappearing from my father. But now you taking my money, you playing in my, and then he's like, I asked you, and then you gonna act like what? I don't know what you talking about. Nah, okay, now I'm not playing with you no more. That's it. It's up.
And that's why I said Teddy's on another level now with Franklin, and he sees that Franklin is not to be played with. And like you said, you know, he had involvement in taking out Franklin's dad. He took his money, and you weren't expecting any retribution.
I'm like, where they do that? You really think Franklin a punk? So that's why I was just like, okay, Franklin, like, you know, like, I'm not a punk, even though he did escalate things, and other people are gonna be collateral damage as a result of him doing what he did. But he letting that dude know that, like, no, you don't get to do that and play in my face.
And he also, if he does take out, if he harms a hair of Sissy's head, he knows that Franklin will carry out his threat. So to me, if Teddy has any concern about his family, give that man back his money and call it a day.
Give him his money. That was uncalled for too. That was really uncalled for. Like, Franklin said, I'm taking my money, I'm out. I'm gonna deal with Louis. Like, he still was gonna have the connection with Louis, and then for him to take the money and say he gonna give it to the CIA, like, what you think this is? I don't know. I'm Team Saint. Team Saint.
Look, I'm not mad at him for doing it. I was just saying you could have been a little more strategic with it. You know?
No, I can't.
Yeah, but you know, I'm not mad at Franklin for doing what he did. I know that he had a lot of pent up aggression against Teddy. He's been holding on to this for a long time.
Exactly. Teddy gotta go.
Yeah. And between Franklin and Ruben, I think Teddy's gonna be out of here maybe before the end of the season. The more I keep thinking about it, he might go, because logically, I'm thinking like he might be the one that gets away, just because that's usually what happens.
That's what I'm thinking. You know, I'm wondering if Ruben is up for the task. I have to see
something though. I'm like, Teddy has gotten away with way too much.
Right.
He needs to get his.
He does. He really does. And I would be fired up if he doesn't get his.
Well, you know, like they say, KGB agents travel alone, and they do a lot of things alone. And like Teddy said, it would be doubly hard on him if the KGB found out that Ruben is gay. So it'll be interesting to see what Teddy does with that piece of information. does he contact Ruben and say, hey, I know something that I know your secret, and if you don't do this, or if you don't follow through with this, I'm going to, expose you to the KGB, because it wouldn't be nice. Wouldn't that be good for Ruben if he does that? That right there.
Yeah, I see you coming. I want to see where Gustavo stands in all of this too. Whose side is he going to take, or is he going to choose himself? So
I think he's going to choose himself. Yeah, I'm scared for him now.
Me too.
Because I was thinking, would Ruben suspect Gustavo with the break-in, to his home?
That's a good point too.
That's a good point. Well, I think he's gonna think it's Teddy. I mean, I think because we just CIA and KGB, like they can come and act like they've never been there and stuff like that. So I think he would probably think it's somebody on par with me. That might let him know that Teddy is on to him. Because at first he thought that he had to drop on Teddy, but now that Teddy has been in his space, he might be like, uh-oh.
But Ruben also knows that Gustavo was talking with Teddy, and that's my point. You go back and say, "Oh, I think Ruben is playing." I mean, Gustavo is double dipping here. He's talking to me and Teddy. So,
yeah. Dang, Ron, you just threw another little kink in there. At this point, I feel like any person on the show can get it at this point. Like, they're all fair game as far as, getting axed. I feel like all of them are equally in danger.
Listen, Gail Bean had an Instagram post and she posted it, death is in the air. And then she said, who will it be? And then she, when you swiped right, it was like several of the characters. And so we knew somebody was going to die. We just didn't know who last night. And so she live tweets during the show, and and I was on Twitter, and she was just like, it's just up, it's from here, pretty much it's just going downhill. So this is going to kick off a lot of stuff, and people are going to be checking out.
Yeah, I'm so looking forward to it. I cannot wait to see who comes out on top and who doesn't, who makes it, and who goes to jail. It's so many different possibilities.
I'm wondering how they're gonna do that with Franklin. Like, or will they kill him off, or will they send him to jail? Because I'm just saying, because if it's pattern after who we think it is, he went to jail. He ain't died. So we'll see how they end this.
So yeah, this was a really good episode. It's definitely setting us up for what's to come. Do you guys have any other comments or predictions you want to throw out there?
I'm good.
4 more episodes and then it's no more. Wow.
I'm so sad to see it about to come to a close, but it's only 5 more to go. So y'all better enjoy these while we can.
Yeah.
So please make sure you drop down into the comment section, give us your thoughts on this episode as well as your predictions for the remainder of the season. Make sure you subscribe to our channel, click that like button and the notification bell. Also, check out our interviews playlist so you can see all of the great guests that we have had on in the past. We have a ton of great interviews in there, and some more to come. So click that notification bell so you get alerted, because we're about to drop some fire. Also, follow us on our social media. We are at The Spot Real Talk on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, all of the above. So you guys got anything else? Going once, going twice. All right. Well, we are going to call it a night, guys. Thanks again. Make sure you're back here next week for another episode of SnowFall to recap. Good night.
Bye.
Calm down before you stress up the groove. The energy a little different when the blessings accrue. Hey, who you talking to? Just know I ain't no regular fool. Could be anything in the world, but I can never be you, because I stand tall like I'm on my tiptoes, baby. You think a little too small. I got big goals, baby. Hey, where the money at? Look, I just need the info. Pronto, I go and get it and split it with my kinfolk daily. And I'm the type of that might change my number on you.